All right, let's dive in. In this explainer, we're going to do a quick review of the essential language you need to master any business negotiation. We're really going to focus on how to turn good communication into communication that's truly influential. So imagine this. You're in a meeting, and the client hits you with outline. Your price is too high. That's the moment of truth, right? It can either shut the conversation down, or it can be the perfect opening for you to prove your value. This whole review is basically a toolkit designed to give you a powerful, confident, and persuasive response for that exact situation. Now, building that masterful response, it all starts with a foundation of precision. In any negotiation, the words you choose matter a lot. And getting the grammar right is really the first step to establishing your authority and credibility. First up, let's quickly review gradable adjectives. These are words that exist on a scale. Think about it. A service can be somewhat reliable, very reliable, or the most reliable. Being able to dial that intensity up or down is just crucial for adding nuance. You're not just expensive, maybe you're slightly more expensive for a service that's far more professional. See the difference? Okay, so let's contrast those with their opposites, non-gradable adjectives. You can't be very unique, can you? Because being unique is an absolute state. You either are or you aren't. So instead, we use absolute adverbs like completely to add emphasis, not degree. Saying this design is completely unique just sounds so much more sophisticated. It's a small detail, for sure, but it really signals a mastery of the language. Let's do some quick-fire professional upgrades. It's not a greeting call, it's an introductory call. You don't just have a possibility, you have an opportunity. For project work, you collaborate with a partner. You don't just cooperate. And finally, it's always quality results. These are called collocations, word pairings that native speakers use automatically, and they instantly make your professional tone sound sharper. Okay, so we've got precision locked down. Now, let's move to the next level, speaking with fluency and style. This is where we go beyond just being correct, and we start sounding natural, persuasive. And you know the best tool for that? Idioms. Let's start with a classic you're going to hear in any conversation about investment. Cost a pretty penny. Now, this idiom is actually more strategic than it sounds. So here's the key. This phrase does more than just say, it's expensive. It strategically acknowledges the high price, but it frames it as a worthwhile investment. It's a way of saying, yup, I get it. This is a significant cost, and here's why it's justified. And now for what might be one of the most powerful idioms in a negotiator's toolkit, penny wise, pound foolish. This one brilliantly illustrates the risk of just picking the cheap option. It completely reframes the conversation away from your price is too high and toward what's the long-term cost of a cheaper, lower quality alternative. It's honestly a genius way to pivot the discussion toward value and managing risk. But a word of caution here. Not all idioms are created equal. The language you use has to match the situation, what we call register. Saying your service offers excellent value for money is perfect for a formal proposal. But telling that same client they're getting great bang for your buck, well, that might be a little too informal. Knowing the difference is a true mark of an advanced speaker. Okay, so we've covered precision and style. Now let's add some power. We can do this by changing our sentence structure to deliberately emphasize our most important points. So here's a perfectly fine standard sentence. Our experienced team guarantees quality results. It's clear, it's professional, but it doesn't really have a lot of punch, does it? Now look at this transformation. It is our experienced team that guarantees quality results. By using this "it is that" structure, we immediately put a spotlight on our key advantage, our team. It's no longer just a statement, it's a powerful declaration. This is a fantastic technique to use in presentations and formal proposals. So we have our tools, right? We have precise grammar, stylish idioms, and emphatic sentence structures. Now we need a plan, a framework to use them. So here's a simple but incredibly effective 3-step plan for responding to any price objection. First, acknowledge. You always start by validating their concern. It builds rapport and shows you're actually listening. Second, pivot to your value proposition. This is where you immediately use an emphatic structure to highlight your unique strengths. And third, address the risks. This is the perfect spot to use an idiom like penny wise, pound foolish to subtly point out the long-term cost of choosing a cheaper option. All right, this is the moment we've been building up to. Let's see how all these pieces, the precision, the idioms, the emphasis, and the strategy, all come together to create one seamless, confident, and really persuasive response. Just listen to how this flows. It starts with empathy. I understand your concern. Then, bam, it immediately uses that emphatic structure we reviewed. It is precisely because of our experienced team. It strategically acknowledges the price with cost a pretty penny, then introduces risk with penny wise and pound foolish, before landing on a clear formal statement of value. Honestly, it's a masterclass in negotiation. So, the bottom line is this: a powerful response isn't just about having the right words. It's about combining empathy with a confident justification. It's a blend of precise grammar, strategic vocabulary, and a clear framework that shifts the entire conversation away from price and towards long-term value. And that brings us to the end of our review. So the real question now is, what are you going to do with this? Are you going to focus on using those emphatic structures in your next proposal? Or maybe try weaving in an idiom to reframe a tough conversation? The path to mastering this stuff is all about practice.